Story 1. My wife wanted new wooden spoons. She told me and also wrote it on her list for me. She also told her mother. And she went on our family secret Santa and added wooden spoons to my wish list. So today, she opened wooden spoons for me, her mother, and my secret Santa also got me wooden spoons. 12 altogether. I'm a little bit annoyed. Laugh out loud. Story 2. My mom, age 90, napped most of yesterday. So she woke up at 3 a.m. and started texting me at 5:20 a.m. demanding to know where her caregivers are and why she's all alone in the dark. Then she sent me a series of texts that were supposed to go to other people. The problems? 1. She was texting my Google Voice number, which doesn't get alerts. 2. She's supposed to call my brother because he has overnight duty. 3. Her caregiver was scheduled to come at 8 a.m. since her last caregiver left after 11 p.m., but she claims she forgot and didn't know what time it was, even though her smartphone has a clock and she can always ask her virtual assistant. There's not enough medication in the world for me, especially since she criticized me just the other day telling me she's capable of staying in her own home and making her own medical decisions because she's competent and a retired director of nursing and to butt out. But then I'm the one she makes feel guilty, not anyone else. Story 3. Stepbrother. Showed up late. Complained about the food, gifts, decorations, etc. Was loud and obnoxious the whole time. Hit my elderly cat and left after I punched him in the face. Story 4. My 14-year-old stepdaughter's father moved 3,000 miles away last year with his new wife. Minus one trip last summer. She hasn't seen him much in the last year and a half. He calls my wife and says he wants to see her this Christmas and he will buy the plane ticket. My wife says she will help and pay for half. He declines, stating it's his gift to his daughter. She agrees. The tickets he buys are the worst possible ever. She departs San Diego at 6 in the morning as an unaccompanied minor on Christmas Eve. This means we have to get up at 3:30 in the morning to get her to the airport, go through the paperwork, of which there is a lot, and all by 4:30 to get through security and on her plane at 5:45. The poor kid gets stuck in Dallas due to weather overnight and alone, and didn't arrive in Connecticut until Christmas Day at 11 in the morning California time or 2 in the afternoon Eastern time. My wife and I were stressed all night worrying over her. He never thinks of how his decisions will affect others. He put his child through sitting in an airport overnight instead of flying her out a couple of days earlier. Story 5. 2 of my family members had to work today. My cat pooped under the tree. The refrigerator started making a loud, strange noise at around 3 a.m., and the oven died. Story 6. Caught my wife cheating. Lied throughout our entire marriage. Lied to our marriage counselor about this and convinced me that it was just my insecurities making me suspicious about her friend. Saw the texts last night when I went to give her her phone because she missed a call from a different friend while in the bathroom. Opened her phone only to see the texts right there. I'm crying at work at the moment. Story 7. My dad not realizing that our silent Christmas dinner is all because of him. He is mean and negative to me and my sister all year round and just expects us to beg him to please, oh please spend time with us, which he then spends watching TikTok on his phone. My sister has a life, so she is spending Christmas elsewhere. I'm so jealous. Next year, life or not, I am not spending my next Christmas in such uncomfortable silence. I'd rather be alone. Story 8. Not really ruined, but it is becoming a nightmare. I bought a house and had everything ready to close by the 20th, except Rocket Mortgage had a glitch where their computer system thinks I need to keep filling out the same form repeatedly. I have a third-party mortgage broker who is on their board and is dumbfounded by their incompetence. My problem is that I won't have any time to move after the 1st, as I have a lot of projects starting. This upcoming weekend is my last chance to move. They now say they may be ready to close this Friday, but I'm still receiving persistent emails. I'm sure they will take it to 3 p.m. and not leave the title company or realtors any time to draw up their closing documents. I can't even tell my friends what day they can help me move, so I have nobody to assist me. Story 9. Finding out you are not important to people that you went above and beyond for in friendships. Having only 20 pounds to get through to the new year. Desperately trying to hold it together around a mother with a fondness for alcohol. Having a massive infection in my jaw while the medication makes me sick. But none of that really matters much today. My dog died last night, so I just feel broken. But I will put on a brave face, eat the Christmas dinner, and appreciate what I do have. Story 10. Nothing but my, until recently super kind, friend making 50 jokes about coming to my apartment to see me naked weren't the best. The man fell on his brain, I guess. Story 11. Not ruined exactly, but not the best Christmas either. My husband had a major stroke 2 weeks ago and is in a hospital 90 miles away. My old car won't make the drive, but I'm going to see him tomorrow. My daughters are in Chicago, and I'm in Michigan. I saw my son for a bit this morning, but it just doesn't feel like Christmas. Getting ready to go to work now. Hope everyone has the best day they can. Story 12. I have been sick, but family is still expecting to see me, some of whom I have no desire to spend time with today or otherwise. Honestly, I would be thrilled to lie in bed all day with Hallmark movies and my cat, and not have to deal with toxic people on top of a chest cold. Story 13. Great dinner yesterday. Nice presents. Decent vibes. But it's all just a happy face. I miss my ex when I shouldn't. I can't get myself to be actually excited for anything. Opening presents felt like an embarrassing thing I just had to get done with. My mom's dog went completely wild over the toy I got him, and that did at least bring me joy because it was something I gave some thought to. He's got 3 toys he really specifically likes for their color, sound, and feel individually. I managed to find something that hit all 3 criteria in one toy. I had almost completely forgotten I bought him that. Anyways, now I'm back in my room sulking when I shouldn't be. I want to be hopeful and see the spark in things again, but I've spent this whole past year just being a mess. Story 14. Our dog got sick out of the blue last Friday, and we took her to the veterinarian first thing Saturday morning. All the blood work pointed to cancer, and because her outlook looked so horrible, we decided to let her have her forever nap. I will never forget, it was a lovely solstice morning. It was peaceful and she wasn't too aware, but the weight of it really hit home this week. It's like I'm stuck in a bad dream. I'm trying not to cry today, and my husband is the sweetest at trying to boost my mood. Christmas was Olive Dog's favorite. She loved opening presents and getting new toys and treats. I know there are so many people out there who have lost a family member or a furry friend this year, and I can only send you hugs and sympathy. Raise a glass to those who have passed. May the year 2025 be gentler to us all. Story 15. Financial anxiety. I've never been poorer in my 34 years of life, and the dread has been setting in since Thanksgiving. The modern nature of the holiday dictates that I spend money in order to express my love for people, and I could hardly afford Christmas cards and groceries. Rough stuff out here. Story 16. Apparently me. I didn't want to make breakfast since I made dinner tonight and dessert, and dinner last night, and did all the shopping, and had to work this morning, and I'm disabled. But me asking someone else to cook was just a bridge too far. Forget them. Story 17. I didn't think my in-laws were doing anything. My mom invited my mother-in-law to her house for Christmas so she wouldn't be alone. Then I found out my in-laws were having a last-minute get-together on Christmas Eve, and my mother-in-law is still coming today. Oh, and I got disappointed at work and did not get a promotion most people thought was mine, but the decision maker did not agree. Oh, and I already hated Christmas. Story 18. Dad buried the big fake tree in a giant junk pile he created in the garage months ago, while organizing and kept announcing that he was going to pull it out, but never actually bothered. I even heard him laughing about it a couple of minutes ago. It's frustrating because we've pretty much skipped out on celebrating over the past couple of years, and I would have at least liked a tree to stare at. Story 19. My family for wanting me to break my personal boundaries so they can feel better about themselves. I won't be cornered into faking the big happy family. I won't be pressured into breaking boundaries to clean anyone else's conscience. I am not going to be a contingency plan for inheriting anyone's future burdens. I'm not on board. Story 20. This is my first Christmas with my boyfriend, and I spent a lot on him. Nice clothes, custom items, and golf clubs. He got me a puzzle. I think this is also our last Christmas. Story 21. My partner managed to make the only plans I've cared about in our relationship that he's been hearing about my excitement for since day one. passing out food to the homeless. What about him, as well as trying to take some of the items such as gloves and snacks that are for legitimate homeless people right in front of my dad. Story 22. I showed up to help with $300 worth of presents and an envelope of what cash we had on hand for my sibling who was sick. My Christmas money I saved was inside that envelope even. I was very tired after a 4-hour drive and a night in a hotel, and I came to help my elder parent make a gingerbread house with my nephew. We saw her briefly the night before, and she was obviously hypomanic. And there was no holiday tree. Very bad sign. So I was trying to ask very gently to take over. Before my sleepy brain could offer to take the kids to the Lego store and later take over getting everyone to zoo lights, I offered our home for a future visit, and my sister flipped out, screamed at us for not offering to help enough and told us to leave. It really hurt my mom's feelings. Mine too, but now I had to take care of my very upset senior mom, who just wrote out a divorce this year. So here I am, not feeling like anything I did is important. No one cares how hard it is to save, plan presents, travel, give away my gifts to others, work a hard job. I nearly died in July during a pandemic recovery year and supported 2 people. Blah, blah, blah. But I'm not allowed to have feelings or problems. And came home, heater was fried, so I spent $500 on a card I just paid off. But forget it all. I still love Christmas. I filled Mom's stocking. I am watching the Holiday Hallmark Channel. We had waffles for breakfast. I made her a new couch. We are very lucky, and I remind myself of the good times before and hope next year will be better. And I called in my eldest nephew and told him to get his youngest brothers and take them home for Christmas, and to pick up everyone's presents and food before someone freaked out and threw them. Story 23. It's just my mom and me. My dad died earlier this year, so it's our first Christmas without him. We had planned to do things a little differently to make the season easier on my mom. Then I got sick, so I'm at home in bed and Mom is alone. When I called her this morning, she was crying. Story 24. One of my best goats passed away suddenly with no warning, pregnant with babies that should have arrived in just a week or 2. Worse, she was the last living goat of a line that traced directly back to my first goat, almost 20 years ago. She was so young too. The weather has just been too crazy. Pneumonia is probably what got her. Can kill in 12 hours or less some types. Story 25. My dad passed on December 14th after a long battle with Parkinson's disease. I am pretty much flat broke. My car is in pieces in my garage. I haven't seen my children in nearly a year, and I am trying to pull up my bootstraps and care for 2 people on take-home wages that are below the poverty level for 1 person. But I currently have a roof over my head, so I've got that going for me, which is nice. Story 26. My neighbors have been up all night drinking and doing cocaine while blasting music. I went to their door 2 times, and on the 3rd time at 5 a.m., I lost my temper with them. I was blunt and direct, and they did not like it. Then 7 of them came over to my apartment and threatened to beat up my boyfriend, so we had to call the police. They didn't do anything, and now that my boyfriend went home, I'm scared to go outside. Also, my kids are at their dad's this year, and I miss them. Story 27. My spouse was diagnosed over the summer, and we were completely blindsided given his age. We discovered this due to a persistent headache after a cold. Clean MRI after radiation and chemotherapy. Thought we could breathe for the holidays. Double dose of chemotherapy acted like the Grinch. A week and a half out from the last dose and still feeling terrible. We have been through hell and just wanted a decent Christmas. We just went through the holiday motions for our child. I could have taken it or left it this year. Hate cancer. Story 28. The stark realization that I am not happy with my wife. We argued all night last night, and she kept trying to argue in front of our toddler, even after I asked her to stop. She cornered me in the kitchen, and since I will never lay a finger on her, there was not much I could do. Sorry, son. I hate that you saw us arguing on Christmas Eve. I love you. Story 29. Drove 100+ miles to see my folks. My car has never had a problem before. Of course, when I drive a long distance and have work right after Christmas, my starter breaks and I can't drive anywhere. Like, why does this only happen at the most inconvenient times? Also, now my Christmas money goes to my car. Fantastic. Story 30. Needing to put my cat down yesterday. He had a seizure at 12:30 a.m. on Christmas Eve that put him in a bad way. He was already an old cat, but we were hoping he was on the road to recovery. Come sunrise, he was walking around but seemed lost, like his eyesight had gone. Then by the afternoon, he was struggling to hold himself up on his legs and was in a lot of pain. It was hurting us all seeing how miserable he was. By the end, we had to come to terms with letting him go, and we took him to a vet and said our goodbyes. Such a painful moment, though we tried to enjoy Christmas regardless. It just feels emptier not having him here. I still keep expecting to see him chilling in the back garden. Story 31. Severe depression and not having much money. I miss being a kid. Things were so much simpler. Still wishing you all a very Merry Christmas and the best. Hang in there to all those struggling with personal and financial issues. Love you all.